What's up, Tackle Warehouse fans? Welcome back to this week's episode of What's New at TW. My name's Rich. I'm going to take you through some awesome new products that we have. It's the end of April. If you haven't got on the water already this year and caught some hogs, it's about time to do so. I got some cool stuff from DD26 to start talking about here. These are the Cable King wire keepers. This is going to keep your electronics at the front of your boat super dialed, super organized. All the wires running down the shaft, whatever live transducer units you may have, are going to stay super organized and clean. Just going to allow you to run a safer boat and also have less tangles and stuff with your gear at the front of the boat. So next up from DD26, this is the directional live sonar pointer. So a lot of the times guys running the live sonars, they're looking at their trolling motor, seeing what direction that arrow's pointing, and that is going to influence the direction that they cast to try to get the fish on their screen. So not only are you going to be able to see that arrow as an extended view, as a projection of your boat, but also that tip is going to glow at night. So for you guys staying out after hours trying to catch those hogs late at night, you're going to be able to see what direction exactly your live sonar is pointing, and this is going to give you some next level accuracy for your casting and really improve your live sonar fishing. Lastly, from DD26, this is kind of a fish care product. So these are the fish ID tags, and unlike traditional cull tags, this isn't really a cull tag, this is an identification tag. So you're gonna put this on the soft dorsal part of the fish's dorsal fin. It's not gonna go on the backbone, it's gonna go right on the soft dorsal fin behind the main dorsal fin where the spines are. And you also don't want to pull the fish by these tags. They're strictly used to identify the fish that you have in your live well, so you can make quicker, more informed culling decisions on the water. And it's also going to help the fish. You're putting these tags in an area on the fish that is going to be able to rejuvenate quickly and really, not damage the fish, unlike traditional cull tags. You're threading stuff through the gills or the mouth. That's definitely going to potentially cause more harm. So these cull identification tags are really cool, and when I was tournament fishing years ago, I did not know about these, and I'd be super stoked to find out about them. Up next from Nomad, this is the Vibe storage box. This is a double-sided box. It has soft foam on the inside, and you can absolutely stuff this thing with your Vertrexes and whatever Nomad gear or any squid treks or any jigs for that matter. You could even turn this into a fly box if you wanted to. I have a bunch of surface irons stuffed in mine, and there's so many in there that when I shut it and lock it, when I shake it around, they really don't go anywhere. But this thing is an awesome product from Nomad for storing your soft lipless baits and any jigs that you might want to isolate from the rest of your tackle. So up next from Raid Japan, so this is the Super Fish Roller. This is the 5-inch, and this is a really unique new JDM bait from Raid Japan, and the way that you're going to fish this thing, so this is kind of like a traditional fluke style lure, but it has some really cool modern upgrades to it. Starting off, you have these 3D scales that are basically molded into the body of this bait, and what those are going to do is this bait's designed to roll, and I don't know if y'all can see that flash, but you're supposed to pair this thing with a small ball head jig, and when you slowly retrieve it, it's actually going to roll back and forth almost like a swim bait. So this is great for fishing around cover, but you could also throw it as like a trailer for anything that you wanted to add a little bit more rolling action to, whether that's your swim jigs or your bladed jigs. That cavity inside here is also going to help the buoyancy of this thing, and then that dense nose up front is going to allow you to put whatever small jig head up front that you'd want to pair with this. So that's the Super Fish Roller from Raid Japan. Up next from Raid Japan, so this is the Tailor, and you can already see, if I grab this thing by the nose, you can see how just absolutely pliable and just flexible and crazy this thing is. So this is gonna fall under the bluegill creature bait category. This kind of style of bait has really become popularized over the last few years, and just because of the versatility of what you can do with this thing, you can flip it around cover, you can pitch it wherever you want, you could really skip this under docks if you pegged a Texas rig, and you could also fish it on a free rig. You could throw it out there, a sliding drop shot sinker, and kind of let this thing just shimmer down into the strike zone. The main standout feature to me with this bait is just all these ribs on the side of it. It's going to add an insane amount of action, and also this is a super dense bait. This weighs a lot more than it would look like, and you're going to be able to throw this thing quite far and reach some structure way far out from the boat, and hopefully deceive a lot of hogs this spring. And that's the Tailor from Raid Japan. All right, guys, up next, we got a couple new exclusive TW colors in the Z-Man Jackhammer Chatterbait. So this is the exclusive black-blue color, and this is the exclusive green pumpkin watermelon. Starting with the black-blue, you got that new matte finish on the blade, that matte finish on the head, and that classic black-blue skirt trailer. Great for fishing low-light conditions around grass. Fish this thing around docks, and you have all the componentry as the legendary Jackhammer, all the other chatterbaits in the legendary Jackhammer series with that black blue, and then same with that green pumpkin watermelon. You have that nice two-tone green pumpkin watermelon skirt. Really unique color. You can't get these anywhere else. Definitely want to grab a few for this upcoming summer. Fish slide off their beds. We all know how well black and blue and green pumpkin watermelon baits are going to perform in the summer, and these are two colors that you can't get anywhere else aside from Tackle Warehouse. Definitely grabbing myself a few of these. All right, y'all, up next from Baitfuel. This is their new saltwater fish attractant. For all you inshore guys or guys fishing tidal fisheries, this could be a great option to throw a new pitch at the fish, you know, give them something they maybe not have seen before. This thing was designed in collaboration with fisheries scientists, and it has a formula. It's actually going to create a small cloud of scent around your lure in the water. So it's going to call a lot of fish that are relying on their senses in muddy, murky water. And yeah, this Baitfuel will definitely get you bit this upcoming season. All right, next up from Willow Creek. So this is the Willow Creek Mega Ball, and you can see why it's called the Mega Ball with all the wires coming out of this thing. So, I mean, first off, starting at the front, you have a nice barrel swivel that kind of brings all these wires together, and then you can kind of see that this bait is specifically designed for smaller swim baits. So what you're gonna wanna do is you have 6 trailers, you have 3 snap swivels. You're gonna wanna put those 2 to 3 inch swim baits of your choice up top, and then maybe those 3-inch and slightly bigger swim baits with your favorite jig heads down low. It's gonna help it stay upright in the water column, and hence the name Mega Ball. This thing's gonna create a ton of commotion in the water. You have 6 willow blades in there as well. You can spread this thing out as wide as you want. We don't have it tweaked out too far. Obviously, if you're on the water fishing this thing, you're gonna wanna bend those blades out, get it swimming as hydrodynamically as possible. But pair this thing with all your favorite swim baits and jig heads. And again, this is a really cool umbrella rig from Willow Creek that will kind of give the fish a different look in terms of umbrella rigs this upcoming season. Definitely would recommend grabbing a few of these. All right, up next from Hobie. So these are the Everglades sunglasses right here. This is the case they come in, and one really cool thing about the Everglades is these are actually a floating sunglasses frame. Really sleek fit on these. They have they're gonna fit heads of all sizes, and they're extremely polarized as well. So those of you still fishing bedded fish this upcoming season, maybe you kicked your old pair of shades over the side of the boat last week, this is a great opportunity to load up on a new pair. These things are super clean. You got that nice Hobie branding on the side. Super comfortable, ergonomic rubber on the ends of the sunglasses there as well. So definitely recommend grabbing a pair of these. Really great pair of shades just for boating, sight fishing in general. And that's the Hobie Everglades. All right, up next from Reneau Tackle. So these are some terminal tackle items from Reneau that we're super excited about. We'll start off with the hover heads here. So you can get these hover heads in the standard hook right here, or you can get them in the weedless option as well. The hover strolling technique has really swept the country the last few years, kind of in conjunction with the whole forward-facing sonar craze. Regardless of where you stand on that, it gets big. You're able to see this thing well on the screen. And this cool weedless hover head option as well is gonna provide that nice balance that you're gonna get from all that lead on the shank, and also give you the ability to fish this through submerged trees, around docks, around offshore structure, whatever you may run into out there. These hover heads are definitely a great option, and the hooks on there are owner hooks. Same thing on the line through heads as well that I'll talk about here in a second, but you have premium componentry on here, and you have the owner micro barrel swivels at the front of those as well. So that's gonna reduce line twists and also allow that jig to really suspend and stay upright in the water a lot nicer than it would if you were to just directly tie your line on conventionally as you would with a similar hover head. So those are the Reneau hover heads, and this one here is really cool. So this is actually something I've never seen before. So this is the Reneau line through swim bait head, and just to give you a more realistic representation of what this thing looks like fully rigged, these are line through swim bait heads that will allow you to fish this kind of a high-low rig right here. There's some really good videos online on our website where you can check out exactly how to rig it. But essentially what you have is you have a sinker stop above the jig head, and then your line is actually tied beneath the jig head onto that split ring, which is on one of those owner micro barrel swivels. And so that's gonna let that jig head slide freely. So that jig head actually has a hole through it. So when you're fishing this thing in the water, don't be afraid to fish this through cover, and it's also gonna just provide that great action on your baits that traditional line ties and other double rigging options like this aren't gonna let you do. That line through option also, if you wanted to just fish this as a standalone jig head, you could add like a blade on the bottom of that barrel swivel and you could have yourself a nice little underspin there. But here we have it rigged as a double head, obviously, and to secure the bottom one, all we did was just tie this split ring on the bottom. I can't really get it out of there now, but it's wedged up in the back of that jig head, and you can see we have the same weight stop at the front of that, kind of securing that jig head on there. So that's a really cool way to fish kind of these smaller swim baits. And then lastly, they all have the sizes label on the back of them, so you don't have to dig through your tackle box knowing, trying to guess what size jig head you're picking up. Really cool baits from Reneau Tackle. Once the fish kind of get off their beds, get back into the mid-summertime swing of things, they're feeding on shad, this is a great technique that I'd recommend trying out. It's probably gonna give the fish something that they haven't looked at or seen before, and you're probably gonna catch some really big bass on it this year. All right, lastly from Buckeye, this is the Buckeye Brush Panda Swim Jig. So this was designed in collaboration with Jacob Porozniak, and one really cool thing about this jig that you'll notice is the style, how that lead comes up and is integrated into the weedless keeper on that hook right there. So what that's gonna let you do is just fish that thing super confidently through cover and wood, knowing that you can bang it off structure and it's not gonna foul up. It has a really beefy hook on there, so you're gonna be able to absolutely winch on bass, get them out of cover quickly. Pair this thing with your favorite paddle tail, soft plastic, whatever, you name it, and if you slow roll this thing around the right structure, you're gonna get absolutely chomped this year. And that's the Buckeye Lures Brush Panda Swim Jig. All right, last but not least, so this is the new GLX series of rods from g.loomis. So this is a really cool kind of historic rod series. GLX is actually the first graphite that was produced specifically for making fishing rods back in 1993. So not only do you kind of have that embodied into the name of the rod series, but you also have that really traditional kind of black and gold g.loomis lettering on there. And aside from aesthetics on this thing, I feel like these rods just keep getting lighter and lighter. You have the Fuji SIC guides on here. You have the CI4 Plus technology integrated into the reel seat, premium grade A cork handles. I mean, there's like over 30, maybe over 40 different rod models in this series. And not to mention, you're gonna have these really nice weedless style hook keepers on here. Definitely my favorite style. This is the worm and jig rod here. This is the 7-1. Like I was saying, they come available in tons of different models. This is incredibly light right here, and you're gonna absolutely just level up your performance on the water, picking up the new GLX series from g.loomis. Thanks for watching this week's episode of What's New at TW. If you liked any of the products that you saw in this week's video, comment below what was your favorite, and to shop any of these items, go on over to tacklewarehouse.com and get yourself bit this upcoming season.